This should be the final video. And the last thing we have to make is just this triangular part there. Says that it is 25 long. Just based on this line here, we're going to assume that that means that it's 10 wide. So 10 wide. What we can do now, and what we should do now, and what we will do, is we're going to kind of just show that we know where that middle point is up here. And it says that it is 25 long. So we're going to go this way, out 25. So now you've pretty much made a triangle. That's the right way to do that. So you've made the triangle. This is probably the fastest and easiest way to do this. So I'd highly recommend you doing it this way. You made the triangle. Says that it's 10 wide. So just use push-pull and go 5 this way and go 5 that way. And now you've made that, and that's 10. Now you might see a little bit of space here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take push-pull and pull it in, and I'm just going to hide these lines later. And I'm going to take push-pull over here. It's going to be hard to see it perfectly. I'm going to pull that in, and that side for some reason doesn't want to work. Do not know why. Let's see what we just did back here. Wonder if we, so now this side works, but now this side doesn't. That's a little strange. Okay, we might have to do this the old school way, which means we're going to take the pencil tool. Yeah, this way is actually much more efficient anyway, so we should probably stop getting used to cutting corners, because when you cut corners with CAD, then you get yourself into some trouble. So now that closes that off. Yeah, so I was getting a little too ambitious with cutting some corners just to finish it out. And now same thing, now here, going up, should close it up, and it will definitely close it up. Excellent. Now these lines can then be deleted because you want it to look like it's flush, which it is. That line was clearly important. You're noticing anytime something happens and it deletes, then just hide it instead of. This also kind of made it look like that circle wants to be shown. I'm going to hide those lines. So it says that the circle kind of wants to be shown, as you can see in the image. So that looks good. Now we're going to go around and probably delete some of the lines that we think we don't need. This one is probably important, actually. So we can hide that. What you can do, too, is if you click on everything and right-click, there's a way to get all of the softened smooth edges. That should have smoothed everything, but maybe you have to make it a group. Either way, before you do that, I'm going to throw the dimensions on because this is our last video. So here to here should be 25. Here to here is 15. This should say, this is probably going to say radius because I cut it in half. It'll say radius 10. This will say radius 23. We already made that 25. So this should be 10, as we know. And that's pretty much all of the measurements that you require. So do that. If you really want to go like smooth edges, I think you have to make it a group and then smooth edges. Yeah, for some reason the smooth edges part just isn't working so great. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. Now, as far as painting it, you can paint it anything but red. So we'll paint it like this. I'm really going to need to see these measurements though. So that's what I'm going to want to see is the measurements. Once again, there are some lines that, think about this too. And this is the one part where I definitely like cut a corner where I just push this in because you got to think like, what am I going to be able to see? And I'm not going to be able to see inside there if you do it like that. So now I'm going to take some of these edges, the ones that we don't really want to see, and hide them. So where that's going in, we can hide that. And yeah, so this pretty much has all the edges that we need to see. And then the last order of business is taking your name and writing it, and then scaling it down and submitting a screenshot. You can paint it a different color. You can leave it the same color. That's up to you. Obviously, don't have it all over your shape. I want to be able to see everything. And one thing about making it, and make sure